FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today is February 7th, 2017. Well, hey, markets come and go, presidents come and go, but America will always be America, let us hope. Well, with us now is Nick Santiago, InTheMoneyStocks.com. Remember, any questions, comments, feedback, we don't take criticism, but we do take feedback. Just send us an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. Make sure you check out our Twitter feed @KerryLutz. Facebook page is Financial Survival Network. Nick, it's been a while, but welcome back.
Great to be with you, Kerry. Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year. And it's been a happy one at that, hasn't it?
It certainly has. It has. We've had quite a rally in the markets. We've had a little bit of a shift in politics here, and things are looking pretty good.
A little, and we've seen precious metals rally quite a bit. I mean, they had the end of the year December correction, which really most of the technical people that I follow were totally predicting. Went a little further than expected into the mid 1100s, but now it's come back. And it's looking pretty bullish for the metals. It's looking pretty bullish kind of all the way around, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And gold and gold mining stocks have done very, very well as of late. And we're actually still holding our long gold position, probably going to hold that into the weekend or probably into Friday. And then we're going to probably look for a little bit of a pullback or some sideways action in gold. But I do like what I'm seeing here in the precious metals, and equities in general have had a tremendous run. We're a little bit getting into a time period now where we're due for a little bit of a pullback, but it should lead to another buying opportunity. And if we get any news on tax cuts, I think markets just respond in a positive way again.
Hey, absolutely. And we've seen a little bit of slackening of the dollar, which, well, it's probably good for metal. It's probably better for the broader economy. I mean, it's hanging in there at that 100 mark, Nick, right around 100.
Yep. Right now, the dollar started to pull back. If anybody takes a look at a chart, basically around the New Year holiday, right around the beginning or late December, we started to pull back in the dollar. U.S. dollar index, which is a dollar versus a basket of 6 currency, the most notable being the euro, the British pound, and the Japanese yen. But you'll see the dollar index now trading around that $100 level. Today, it's at $100.34. It should ultimately trade down to around the $96.50, $97 area. That, in my opinion, is going to be probably one of the best buying opportunities you're going to get in the dollar if you've missed the rally over the last couple of years. So the dollar ultimately is going to go higher because Europe is an absolute disaster. Japan's an absolute disaster. And China. You have quantitative easing going on there, and I don't see any end in it. So I think money will just continue to pour into the U.S. dollar.
Well, we also have China, but the Chinese looked like they did an absolute line in the sand. They were not going to allow the yuan to trade at 7 to the dollar, and they stopped it for now. But long range, are they going to be able to stop it?
Well, I'm looking at the chart here, and I think for the time being, we can go back up there and test the 7 level again, but I don't see us exceeding it right now. But overall, I mean, the trend is up. I mean, they've done a lot to try to keep that under 7. Right now, it's at 688. So, I mean, it's not like it's that far from 7. I think ultimately it will eventually get above 7. But right now, they'll probably keep it contained for the time being, the next several months.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it and you just say, this is futility here. They're not going to be able to stop it because you can't stop the market. I mean, for them to stop it, they would have to dump all of their treasuries, all of their dollar holdings. I mean, they would have to throw everything but the kitchen sink. Are they prepared to do that?
I don't think they are prepared to do that. I think what they're going to do is they're going to bark a lot and they're going to make pseudo attempts at that. And I think that's what they've done so far. So we'll see exactly how this all plays out. But again, that's why I look at charts. I'm sometimes not too smart. I'm not that smart to figure out what goes on in the minds of politicians. So I'm just going to watch that money flow, and that's steered me in the right direction for many, many years. So hopefully I'll get it right again.
Hey, well, I think you're probably pretty good on the money there, in the money. Hey, so what about the Mexican peso? You talk about a currency that has been used and abused by the incoming or the now Trump administration. It has just gotten destroyed.
No, it has. It's actually made a little bit of a comeback as of late. So over the last couple of weeks, it's firmed up a little bit. But the reality of it is, Mexico needs the United States a lot more than the United States needs Mexico. And a lot of people, I think, get President Trump wrong here. They think, he's going to totally just, annihilate them. He's not looking to do that. Trump, if you ever looked at any of his deals, he makes a win-win for everybody. And that's what any good negotiator does. So I think, overall, things will settle down, but the reality of it is the dollar versus the Mexican peso, the dollar will continue to strengthen against it, and it will against every currency out there ultimately.
Yeah, and look, what Trump is seeking to do here, he obviously wants NAFTA renegotiated. He wants the flow of illegal immigrants stopped, right? He wants the flow of illegal drugs stopped. Then he wants Mexico to pay for this wall, which one way or the other, I believe will happen. There's quite a bit of contentiousness going on. I mean, if Mexico would simply place their army on the border to stop that flow of drugs and immigrants, I think much of the discussion would become academic here.
I agree with you. There is going to be, so far we've seen a president that actually goes out and does what he says he was going to do. And I think that's a breath of fresh air. So all in all, we'll see how that all plays out. But ultimately, I think this is a pretty determined president that we have right now, a guy that never sleeps. So we'll see how it plays out. But I really, when it comes down to the currency market, I have to think that the dollar will continue to strengthen, especially against the Mexican peso.
All right. So looking at sectors that can potentially profit from a Trump administration, assuming that he's able to get a goodly portion of his agenda through Congress. So Dodd-Frank, you got to believe, is going to become history shortly, right? What else is going to happen here?
The market's already telling us that, right? So look at the rally that the financial stocks have had. I mean, you could just take a stock like J.P. Morgan and just realize on November 7th, the stock was trading, I believe, at around $70 or a little bit less. Now the stock's trading at, $86, $87. So, it's already telling you that those banking regulations, at least a fair amount of them, will be, Dodd-Frank will be repealed, and there'll be something else in place. And regulations in general, I mean, he's already set out where, if you're going to put in a new regulation, you got to get rid of two. So it's a pretty good deal. And everything that this guy has done is pro-growth right now, and that's something we haven't seen for 8 years.
Yeah, so we're not going to go to the point where we're going to just have too much deregulation here, though, where they're just going to be able to run roughshod on us. Are we?
I don't believe so, and I don't think that that's good for anybody. I think that there are some regulations, and I'm a free market guy, but you do have to have some regulations out there. I mean, it's just you can't just go and pollute water. So things like that, you do have to have some kind of regulation. You have to have some sense about your country and the way you run your business. And I think that the bank stocks are showing us that we're going to get growth going, at least in the near term, regarding the repealing of Dodd-Frank, and we're seeing in a lot of other industry groups as well. So it's just going to come down to how quick can we get rid of the regulations that don't make sense, right? Because every time in life we overshoot. We do too many regulations, then we do too little regulations. Where is the happy medium, and can we find that? And we'll see if that can come to fruition.
Because we really can't trust these banks, can we?
No, I wouldn't trust the banks as far as I could throw them. So, but
there's a reason they're called banksters.
Yeah, there's a reason, and we've seen the history of it. I mean, you just go back and look at history. These guys have always pulled the fast one every time. So it's pretty interesting. But we do want to see this country, the United States, go back to positive growth. I mean, 2% GDP. If it's even that. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous at this stage of the game. So, I mean, it's good to see the growth policies being initiated back in the United States.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, growth is what it's all about. If we're not growing, we're dying, right?
That's one or the other. There's only two places you could go, up or down.
Yeah. So you can't just be moving sideways because you're going to die.
Well, that's stagnation, right? And you know what happens in stagnation. You go nowhere, right? So
yeah,
we really need to get back to business and get back to pro growth and get back to celebrating entrepreneurs. And we need to get rid of this society where people just are just going about their everyday business without having any goals or accomplishment. And I think we're on the right track here. It's not going to be easy. You have a lot of dissension going on, but I guess that's just the way the world is these days.
A lot of snowflakes, right?
So they say.
Yeah, well, hey, look, I mean, it's nothing new in America, dissension, whatever. I think that the level of it, what's happened here in the country, that's what's new, the intensity of it.
Absolutely. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in my lifetime. But it's just really a sign of the times. And hopefully when people see that we can all have a better world, a better life, hopefully things will simmer down. But it is alarming right now to see the anger and that is going on. And the worst part is when you talk to somebody that's protesting, I'm going to say, 90% of people don't even know what they're protesting about. And that's what's really scary.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that the truth? Yeah. Well, you see these people, they're really ignorant, aren't they?
Well, there can only be so many shepherds, and there's a lot of sheep. And hopefully, people start to wake up, smell the coffee a little bit, and start to get back to an entrepreneurial spirit. And I think that's what we've seen in this country, especially after economic hardship like we've had. And hopefully, that's where we go again. But there's an old saying in the market that I made up a long time ago. When it comes down to trading, there's no room for hope. You need to know, and you need to anticipate the anticipators, and that's what ultimately makes money. But like you said, I've never seen anything like this as far as these protests go, and as far as the division of this country. It's basically divided into two halves now, and it's a little bit sad. You have a new president, you got to unite again, unite with him for at least some point in time, and that's what happened. If you go back and you look at FDR, I mean, in the beginning of his presidency, everybody united with him, and later in his reign as president, that wasn't the case any longer, but that was another little bit of a downfall. But you got to at least give somebody a chance. You
would think. I mean, that's kind of the American way, right?
You would think, but this time around, I'm just not seeing it. But you would think it would happen.
You would think, but hey, there's always hope, and hope for another day. Hey, if some of his policies start paying off quickly, maybe some of the country will start coming around on it.
Yeah, you would hope, and we think the first half of this year is ultimately a very, very bullish half. So, according to my cycle work, I mean, we don't really hit any headaches until we get into the second half of the year. But the first half looks like smooth sailing. So markets should do pretty well, and we'll see how it all plays out. But right now, I don't really see any negative signs out here. We'll get little pullbacks, but there'll be buying opportunities to buy more stock.
It's remarkable that a stock market can turn around like that, don't you think? I mean, it's been going up anyway for the past, since the crash. But it's going up. It went up for the wrong reasons, though, right? It went up basically for massive amounts of liquidity and money printing. Now, the Federal Reserve is going to start to raise interest rates. I mean, they've raised the Fed funds rate 2 times now since it's been at zero. But the reality of it is, we're looking at pro-growth policies, and that's what people don't realize. I mean, when you cut taxes, it's the ultimate stimulus plan. So I just hope that we get less deregulation, more, and we cut those taxes. And once we do that, everything will take care of itself, at least in the near term. Yeah. Well, hey, low taxes, and what about deficits? You concerned about them skyrocketing here?
Well, not right now, but I mean, always at some point, and anything that skyrockets can be a problem. So at the moment, I'm not overly concerned about it. But if you get better and fairer trade deals, that will take care of itself as well.
Yeah, amazing that we could get to this point. But yeah, if we get growth, I mean, how much do you think growth can increase here? I mean, realistically.
Well, it's hard to say right now. The problem is really going to come down to the politicians, and it's going to really come down in the second half. You got to remember that Europe is a big headache. Europe is falling apart at the seams. So geopolitically, there are a lot of things that are problematic, and Japan's another country with, major problems as well. And then, you look at potential negotiations. I think China and the U.S. will just negotiate and work something out. I mean, both have a lot to lose. But, you got to make things fair. And we'll see how that all plays out. But the reality of it is, politically in the U.S., that's where the big issue comes in. And I think we're going to start to see real political strife the second half of this year.
Yeah, you could well be right. All right, Nick. So just tell us again where we find you, how we subscribe to your work.
Sure. Come on over. We offer 7-day free trials to our research center. You'll get all of our setup. You'll get our cycle work. You'll also get our No Hype Live broadcast, which allow members to come in each and every week. We do it twice a week, where they could just come in and ask us questions about anything stock market related. Just come on over to InTheMoneyStocks.com, and you'll see everything there. And we have an intraday stock chat room. We do day trades with you live each and every day. And we also have an options alert program as well. So we got lots there and lots of free content for you to check out as well on our blog.
All right, excellent. And as always, you'll find a link to Nick's site in the show notes to this interview on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. And again, any questions, comments for Nick or anybody else you hear on the show, send us an email, kl@kerrylutz.com, kl@kerrylutz.com. Our Twitter feed is @KerryLutz, and Facebook page is Financial Survival Network, and subscribe to the show on iTunes. Just go to the iTunes store, type in either Kerry Lutz or Financial Survival Network, and just click the subscribe button, and it'll automatically get delivered to your iTunes program on your computer, whether it's a PC or a Mac. And Nick, always great talking to you. We will talk to you again real soon. Be well, my friend.
Thank you, Kerry. Have a great new year, buddy.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to FinancialSurvivalNetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Happy New Year, and it's been a happy one at that, hasn't it?
It certainly has. It has. We've had quite a rally in the markets. We've had a little bit of a shift in politics here, and things are looking pretty good.
A little, and we've seen precious metals rally quite a bit. I mean, they had the end of the year December correction, which really most of the technical people that I follow were totally predicting. Went a little further than expected into the mid 1100s, but now it's come back and it's looking pretty bullish for the metals. It's looking pretty bullish kind of all the way around, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And gold and gold mining stocks have done very, very well as of late. And we're actually still holding our long gold position, probably going to hold that into the weekend or probably into Friday. And then we're going to probably look for a little bit of a pullback or some sideways action in gold. But I do like what I'm seeing here.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to FinancialSurvivalNetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today is February 7th, 2017. Well, hey, markets come and go, presidents come and go, but America will always be America, let us hope. Well, with us now is Nick Santiago in themoneystocks.com. Remember, any questions, comments, feedback, we don't take criticism, but we do take feedback. Just send us an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. Make sure you check out our Twitter feed at Kerry Lutz. Facebook page is Financial Survival Network. Nick, it's been a while, but welcome back.
Great to be with you, Kerry. Happy New Year.
Hey.
And the precious metals and equities in general have had a tremendous run. We're a little bit getting into a time period now where we're due for a little bit of a pullback, but it should lead to another buying opportunity. And if we get any news on tax cuts, I think markets just respond in a positive way again.
Hey, absolutely. And we've seen a little bit of slackening of the dollar, which, well, it's probably good for metal. It's probably better for